Sexual energy when you are single. How desire, creativity, and power actually work. There is a question many women ask me all the time. But Inez, how is your sexuality when you are not in a relationship? How can you keep teaching about sexual energy and activating these incredible women when you are not in a relationship? How do you do? Normal women, at least the average women in the world who have never done some kind of embodiment, feminine embodiment work and connection, and develop this connection with their bodies, normally don't feel sexual anymore when they are not in a relationship. There are actually women who are in relationships and don't even feel their libidos activated. And normally, when women don't have a sexual life, they tend to feel very disconnected from that part after a long time. The truth is, sexual energy does not disappear when you are single. And sexual energy doesn't really require a relationship or depends on it for you to feel sexually alive. It does not even require you to have orgasmic practices every day to feel sexual vitality. Because sexual vitality has everything to do with the power of creation, not just sex. So often what it happens is sexual energy tends to change direction. This is how normally women think. Losing their libido and desire for sex is not the same as losing vital force energy in life. Those are not the same thing, and this is the main question for this podcast. When you are not having sex, doesn't mean that your energy is off. This is one of the biggest misunderstandings about feminine sexuality. Sexual energy does not disappear because you are not in a relationship. And it does not turn off because there is no one in your life. It changes how it is expressed, at least in my life. There have been moments where I have been 9 months, 10 months, almost a year celibate, which means I had no sexual activity with no one. That doesn't mean that I didn't have my embodiment practices, my ways to activate my orgasmic energy. It just means I have not been sharing that energy with anyone for a conscious way. Sometimes I'm healing from a heartbreak. Some other times I'm just trying to find myself again. And in periods of identity shifts, it is important actually that we are alone, that we find ourselves, that we actually is very recommended sometimes in certain relationships. I have met a couple who was together for almost a decade, decided to have 6 months of something of celibacy. I think it was not that time, but it was a period of 2 months or 3 months where they would explore sexual energy in different ways, through certain practices, through eye gazing. And Tantra really teaches that. How can we love the other? How can we activate this energy? How can we connect deeply? How can we make love without the physical act of love? Right? So this is actually so important. It's important that we also, even if women are in a relationship, that they have their practices and they never forget how to awake their energy, how to be sexually independent. This helps to also be independent in many situations inside the relationship. Sexual independence is also one of them. Being able to feel alive and channel this energy without the need of someone. So normally when I am in these periods of celibacy, I don't lose my sexual energy. It just gets redirected somewhere else. Normally, towards my mission, towards my purpose, towards my business. Not in a sense that I am flirting with my clients, in the sense that sexual energy is creative energy, in a sense that I create more. I normally have much more time to create, to inspire, to go in a weekend alone. For example, this weekend I decided to be alone, just recording podcasts, meditating on my menstrual phase, and going deep in what I want to share for you this year. Having time alone in my energy, it helps me to concentrate my thoughts, helps me to concentrate in my energy into my vision and recalibrate to where am I going for the rest of the year. I have been creating the whole weekend, and the energy of creation, the energy of building something is sexual energy. Me here channeling all these ideas, me designing new clothes, me painting a new canvas, relating with art, relating with design, doing my practices, connecting with my body, exploring different ways to get inspired is also activating sexual energy. It requires sexual energy. Sometimes has happened when I'm in this phase, I cannot even connect with anyone because I need my energy in its fullness. I need my attention, my concentration, my focus in its fullest, in my purpose right now, without any other interference. And so sexual energy does not disappear just because you are not in a relationship. Sexual energy does not turn off because there is no one. It changes how it is expressed. When we don't understand this, women think that they are broken, that there is something wrong with them, when in fact, life force energy has simply shifted direction. So now there is a difference. How do you know that if you still have this sexual energy operating in your life, if you are using towards your mission, if it's activated or not? If you are in a phase of creation, if you are in a phase of building your empire, if you are in a phase of building something huge, your life is moving forward, things are expanding for you, you are magnetizing incredible opportunities, there is area of your life that things are expanding exponentially, you feel inspired, you feel alive, you feel you wake up and you are motivated to act towards your purpose every single morning, versus you wake up and you feel lost in the world, you have no idea what to do, you feel not inspired, you feel unmotivated, you feel you don't have enough energy, you don't feel motivated to go to the gym to exercise your body, you don't feel motivated to create, you procrastinate. This is when sexual energy is off. And on top of that, you feel down, you feel emotionally down, you feel sad, you are grieving. On top of that, you don't have motivation to do anything. And what you are having in your life, your job, you are not happy with it. So this is when sexual energy is off. When many areas of your life are downgrading and not upgrading. So sexual energy is not about sex. And sexual energy is not only for sex. This is where everything shifts. It is the creative life force that moves through your body. It's the same energy that creates babies, art, businesses, ideas, beauty, leadership, money, life. When I'm in love, normal women, at least when I'm in love, energy flows towards creation. This is why when I'm single, And when I'm celibate, I often become incredibly productive. My work expands, my creativity deepens, my focus sharpens, my business grows. My sexual energy is not missing, is being used to build my life. In this phase of my life, what universe, what my dharma requires is to build this empire at this moment. Does not mean that in the next month I'm in a relationship again. Does not mean that I will be in this phase for the rest of my life, or that you require that stage to build. This is important when you are in a phase of identity shift, when your identity is getting formed, and for a reason. God knows when are you ready or not. What is needed for you right now? Why you are where you are. And today I was listening to another podcast, and there was this beautiful sentence. Just stop focusing on how to figure out life. Just leave it. There is a wisdom that knows where you are, why you are where you are. And so everything expands. When I'm so productive when I'm single, I have so much more time to create. There is another truth that almost no one says out loud, which is many women believe that their sexuality appears because they are single. I want to remind you of something. This also happens inside relationships. Either a single woman or a woman in a relationship can say the following: when I'm not in love, I don't feel sexual. When I'm not in connection, when I don't feel connected with my partner, desire goes away. And some women even think that there's something wrong with them. Women lose their sexual energy not because they are alone. When I'm in love, energy flows towards creation. Love is not just about romance. Love also impacts the state of your nervous system and makes you more open. When you are more open, your body naturally surrenders and opens more. When you feel emotionally met, when you feel chosen, when you feel desired, when you feel safe and alive, you feel sexually alive. When love fades in a relationship, sexuality fades too. Not because the woman is broken, but because her body no longer feels held in that connection. For many women, sexuality is naturally dependent on the quality of the relationship dynamic. If you feel connected, if you feel seen, if you feel felt. So the link is love. When you love something, energy expands and flows. I love my business, so my sexual energy is directed there and it expands. When I'm not in love, I see this link actually. I'm giving you an example. When I give a program that was life-changing, but then I start repeating the program or keep doing it just because it's giving a regular income, but I'm not in love with it anymore, sooner or later, I will experience stagnancy. When there is a piece on my collection that I don't feel connected anymore, but it keeps there, it stops giving sales. It's insane. Where I clinged into something that I'm not passionate about anymore, it stops expanding. And this is the key for everything, in relationships, in your business, everything. The key to expansion, the key to activate your vital force energy is to always be in love, to always have a passion towards something, to always feel passionate about something, to always feel inspired, to always feel motivated, to foster desire, to follow desire, to connect with my body, to do things that give me pleasure. And that doesn't have to be sexual. It can be the pleasure of eating in your favorite restaurant, it can be the pleasure of being with a friend and having a deep conversation, the pleasure of watching a sunset. So when women feel safe, when women feel emotional met, when they are doing things that deepen their emotional sense, that make them emotional, where they feel seen, when they feel chosen, their bodies naturally relax. And when you relax, something magical happens. Arousal. Arousal is not a reaction, it's a response to connection. When connection is missing, my pelvis closes. My pelvic floor contracts. But not because there is a problem with myself, not because I'm damaged, but because my nervous system is intelligent enough to tell me this is not safe. Or you are not feeling safe, there is something to work on here, to address or to work on. So when I'm not in love, I also don't feel sexual in any kind of way. And this is what I want women to understand. I have been in this work for many years already. And the women that most inspired me also in this path, they feel in the same way. Tantra, the real Tantra, is about love. Is about pouring love into intimacy. Intimacy is about depth. It's about truth. It's about authenticity. It's about to be with the other, being who we truly are, being able to be all that we are, through love, through integrity, through honesty, transparency, soul recognition, soul alignment. This is what true Tantra is. So when you are not in love with a person, a relationship fades. When we are not in love with our purpose, we will feel disconnected. We will feel like a fish out of the water. We will feel sooner or later that our business will collapse. We will feel drained. We will feel tired. When we are not in love with our lives, with our vision, you will experience a downward spiral, especially emotionally. When you are not in love or you are not feeling alive, when you are not in love, you simply don't feel alive. And your energy always goes quiet. Not because there is something wrong, but because your energy needs the stimuli of love to return. And it's not about mechanical arousal. It's not about the fast, empty, disconnected orgasm. It's about real sexual energy, connection, the kind of orgasmic aliveness that fills the whole body, that makes you feel alive, radiant, creative, present in life. That energy that only awakens in the field of love. The love for another, the love for a vision, the love for a creation. Love for something that moves your heart and your nervous system. When we are not in that field, the body does not open. This is pure feminine intelligence. Sexuality is not and should never meant to be experienced without love. It's meant to be activated by it. So when women feel dead inside, when they are single, the real problem is not being single. The real problem is they are not in love with anything. They are not in love with their lives. They are not in love with their purpose. They are not in love creating. And these kind of women normally feel burned out, depressed, numb, and inspired, disconnected from themselves. Because sexual energy must move, must constantly create. You know, if I take a vacation, I don't know when I took a vacation like 1 month without doing anything, I go depressed. When I disconnect from my purpose more than 3 days, I feel sad. I feel my energy is going down. And doesn't have to be, it's okay to stop, it's okay to have vacation, it's okay to have a relaxed weekend. But even when I'm in relaxation, I am thinking about my life in a sense of I'm recalibrating. I am thinking of what is aligned, what my body wants, what is not true anymore, where I'm evolving. I relax, I stop to realign myself, to understand what is off track. And from here, I become a better leader, a better mentor. So me doing that is also part of my mission, is part of my work. But if I spend a month without even checking on myself, checking on my body, understanding who I am, listening to my soul, doing anything for the community, doing anything for the world, not doing anything to make this world better, sooner or later I will feel burned out naturally, because what gives me aliveness is my purpose. What should give you aliveness is your purpose, your mission, your vision. A relationship that meets your needs, meets who you are as a person, as a soul. A relationship that is alive. But when anything of that is aligned, this is when you feel off track. When nothing is moving, when nothing is moving through intimacy, through creation, this is when life stagnates. And when you are stagnated, the field of stagnation is linked to sadness, emptiness, and therefore collapse. And this is why burnout happens. Burnout is not about working too much. When I go deep with my clients who are feeling burnout, men and women, both, when we go so deep, we realize that is actually coming from being clinged, attached to misaligned relationships, marriages, careers that not anymore fulfill them, bring them happiness, bring them pleasure. Everything sounds like an effort. Their lives, it's full of situations that don't bring them pleasures. There is much more situations that stress them than situations that bring them pleasure and aliveness and happiness. So burnout happens when your nervous system also is in survival, when life force is not circulating, when your desires are suppressed, when you are in a relationship where you cannot be yourself, where you cannot express your full desires, where you don't have sex anymore, where the relationship feels monotonous, where your body is disconnected from the other. All this leads you to burnout, because if it's not expanding and activating your energy, then is moving you towards a downward spiral. When it's not next level, is previous level. I always say this to my clients: if it's not moving to the next level, it is moving you to previous levels. Pay attention, because there is no such thing as stagnation or staying in the same level. You are always upgrading or downgrading. You can be working hard and still feel alive. It's a Sunday and I'm recording for you a podcast. Sundays should be relaxed days, but what I'm doing, spending the morning journaling and writing the insights for this podcast for you, relax me so much. So inside your purpose, you also have to find activities that relax you. And those activities you can do in any day. I'm not doing on a Sunday finance or tasks that normally are not naturally what gives me most pleasure, or doing the accountability, or doing all the administrative tasks on a day that is supposed to relax me. I'm doing the activities that relax me. Writing for you is a pleasure. I love it. Designing, I do it on Sundays, for example, and I tend to leave weekdays for more operational tasks. But every day I'm adding something to this world, and that fulfills me. When I'm finished recording my podcast, for example, yesterday we had an amazing class. It was one of the most powerful classes inside my community, where we spoke about the themes of integrity, honesty, what we're speaking here, but in a much deeper way. And when we finished, I felt so alive. I was glowing. I went to my Instagram and I looked, oh my God, I'm doing this story. I'm so glowy. It was a Saturday. Now I just finished 2 hours of call with my clients. In the program, Alchemy of Love and Intimacy, my best and deepest program that is happening. It's so alive. It's completely life-changing. And so your burnout happens when your energy is blocked. And the work that I love to do more than ever, it's to dive deep into the shadows. Where are the blind spots? Where are the situations you don't see that are draining you? Because burnout is related also with self-betrayal. This is why so many women who are single are not feeling exhausted, are feeling alive, vibrant, creating, business expanding, everything expanding. And some women married in long-term relationships feel completely burned out, and some of them are housewives. They don't even, they have the work of the house, taking care of the family, the kids, which is of course exhausting as well, but they are not having a source of vitality. Maybe they are disconnected from their mission, from their purpose. Maybe they are too focused on maternity and activities that don't give them also so much pleasure, and they are disconnecting from their dharma. They're also disconnected in the marriage. In these cases, women go directly into burnout, doing sometimes much less than women who have multiple businesses and are serial entrepreneurs that feel super alive. And so it's not about doing too much. It's about what are you doing and how are you doing. It's not about effort. It's about flow. And this is why there is a relationship between nervous system, desire, intimacy, sexuality, prosperity, They operate in the same system. When one increases, the other increases too. It affects the other. Because your body is an instrument through which love, money, creativity, desire move. If your nervous system is collapsed, is anxious, is shut down, desire fades, you struggle financially, especially if you have lived in survival, especially if you feel alone, abandoned, if you feel disconnected from your purpose, if you have lived many years in survival mood. This is the first theme that we work on our program. Many women have no idea. Almost all women have a little layer of survival imprint. Unless you have had a spectacular life, we all have a little layer because we also inherited that from our ancestors. And the past centuries of this world were really tough on women, especially. Also on men, the pressure of providing, the pressure of succeeding. There were also downsides for men with the patriarchal dominancy. The amount of pressure it puts on them that made them feel disconnected from their bodies, disconnected also in their marriages. This is why this is normally the theme I work the most with men, for example, with my one-on-one clients. That they also feel I arrived sometimes in this midlife crisis and they feel there is a piece missing, there is things that are disaligned and they don't know where they came from and what made them do those decisions. Love is not just about romance. And so this is incredibly useful also in business because people, especially in the coaching industry, people don't really buy my offers and my programs and my wisdom. They also do too, but they especially buy the embodiment and the energy that I offer in that. People, when they feel in love with the other, they feel in love with the sense that the other has provided for them. The sense of presence, a sense of at least one moment where they made them feel regulated, where they made them feel alive. Everyone deep inside is searching for this aliveness. And so you ask how to turn all this back, how to reactivate. The best ways I have found in my entire life that saved my life, and I cannot stop recommending embodiment practices. Embodiment practices are not optional. Embodiment practices are practices that help you to connect with your body, to connect with your breath, with your soul. They'll help activate you. They help you to bring you back to your center. And this is the core of my entire work. It's to provide this consciousness, provide this awareness, but also aside with practices that help you, meditations, to help you have breakthroughs, to help you to activate energy, to help you to regulate your emotions, to help you to lead yourself. This is why I don't consider myself a healer. I consider myself a mentor because I give you the tools for you to heal yourself, to lead yourself, to you to be a leader of your own life. And practices like this are like breath work, pelvic awareness, movement, meditation, but meditation with breath work, with sound, with movement. I don't normally sit in lotus position. What really gives me aliveness is movement. It's when I feel energy flowing. The feminine practices are dynamic. When I connect, when I ground with nature, slow presence in my body, slow breath. I do these practices every single day, not to feel more sexual, but to feel more alive, to feel more inspired, to feel more magnetic, more creative, more confident. and more connected with my purpose. Doing this work, and this is why I recommend to women, doing this work sometimes is even more powerful when you are alone, when you are single, because it's an initiation into yourself, into understanding who you are, into activating yourself regardless of anyone in your field. And this is true self leadership. That is true retrieval of personal power. Because when your sexual energy is activated, you are able to heal yourself, to create, to build, to expand anything you want, and to remember who you truly are. Because when I experienced true love was when I started to experience true orgasmic states, when I felt this state of oneness, when I felt my whole body alive and I understood I came here with a purpose to live this state. Relationships exist for us to remember this state. This is why Tantra says relationships are the fastest path to enlightenment. Because although you can feel your sexual energy alive, I have to be honest, it's much faster to feel this energy alive in two. When you have someone, it's just the process is accelerated. And this is the purpose of relationships. If it's not to feel this state, it's not worth it. Relationships have the purpose to expand. And the purpose of being here is to experience life force energy embodied in your body. More than anything, building crazy businesses and a career and marry and make kids. And so this is incredibly useful also in business because this is true feminine wealth. This is magnetism and